Hi, I'm William,
And I'm Kat,
and that makes this info on the go.
answering questions you may not want to know.
Well, this one you may want to know. I don't know.
I don't know either, but if you like desserts and you're kind of wondering where they came from, this is the one for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Thanksgiving is all about turkey stuffing and desserts that often steal the show. Some, sometimes, maybe that homemade mac and cheese recipe steals the show.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, I live for desserts. All right, you got that your pumpkin pie or pecan pie or this candied yams, man. Of
Uh,
course, I put that on my plate before and then after my meal.
well, candied yams is not really a dessert.
I
per
qualify it as a dessert.
I would say so too, especially if it's got the marshmallows on top that's kind of
Hmm.
crisped out. But
Hmm.
you're always going to find that homemade mac and cheese recipe. I don't care what part of the country you're in.
Oh, for sure. And as long as it's got cheese and you can tell that there's cheese in it, I'm good. I've had some not cheesy mac and cheese, man.
Remember when we did our mac and cheese episode and it was like add olives to it?
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Well, I'm just going to make some mac and cheese and then you're going to see the cheese and I'll put the olives in the middle and we'll see how you like it.
I mean, because I like olives. I mean, and I like olives on pizza, so it can't be too much different.
No, and then you compare it with what was it? What kind of wine was it? Sure. Anyway, let's get back to the strange history of Thanksgiving desserts. We're way off track.
All right, so Thanksgiving desserts are more than just pumpkin pie. They're a mix of history, odd ingredients, and quirky traditions, maybe quick throwback to pumpkin spice.
Oh yeah, just go check out the episode. We're not going to dig into it here.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
And then sometimes you got a surprising evolution of Thanksgiving sweets.
absolutely. So we're going to start with colonial and early American desserts. And so early settlers, Uh, sugar was scarce and oftentimes expensive. It was really imported mainly from the Caribbean during this time. So it wasn't something that you could run down to your local Kroger there and grab. So colonists they relied on local sweeteners, right? Stuff like honey, molasses, maple syrup, and spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves. They were precious and really they weren't used sparingly because again they were traded. It wasn't something you could run down to your local store and get. So desserts weren't just treats, they reflected status and available resources. So if you saw those, these desserts come together, it was a real treat for the time, right?
Right, right. So, I mean, because you couldn't just go to the Kroger and pick up your pumpkin pie.
No,
You had to home make it. And like we said, it was all imported stuff for the most part, maybe not the pumpkins.
no. Pumpkins were
Mhm.
native. Remember the jack-o'-lantern that came with Scottish.
Right, right. So, some common desserts of the time, you got the pies, puddings, and custards, which dominated the sweet table. Pies were practical, easy to store, versatile, and could use seasonal ingredients. Custards and pudding were often boiled or baked over an open fire or in hearth ovens.
Yeah, and pumpkins and squash, they were basis for desserts. So early pumpkin pies were often savory, combining pumpkin with milk, eggs, and spices, but not always sugar because again, sugar was scarce. Um, Other squash varieties, including winter squash, they were also adapted for desserts. And if it's baked right, I'll eat a winter squash. It's pretty good.
I like squash. I like spaghetti squash. I'm really not picky about my vegetables, okay?
Well, a winter squash can be really sweet if you use some brown sugar and some stuff with it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, they almost, if you use all the right spices, they almost taste just like a pumpkin pie. You couldn't really tell the difference.
Absolutely. And and colonists they valued these vegetables because of their long shelf life and their versatility. Like Kat said, they doubled as a sweet treat and as a vegetable, so hey, they had a duality.
And other early pies, you got apple pies, sweet potato pies, berry pies.
Well, apple pies, they were sometimes sweetened with honey or molasses because, again, sugar's not something that you can just go down and pick up. And as we talked about, while apples rule fall, apples were brought over, and everybody had apples because they were making apple cider there.
And then you got your summer berries like blueberries and cranberries, which were favorites.
So, some unusual colonial ingredients, honey and molasses often doubled as sugar, uh, because again, sugar was scarce. It was imported. Dried fruits like raisins, currants, and prunes added texture and flavor.
Then you got some nuts. You got walnuts, chestnuts, hickory nuts. Then they were all incorporated for their richness. Sometimes you had savory herbs, which created a flavor profile very different from modern sweets.
Yeah, so the key takeaway from all of this is that colonial desserts were practical, seasonal, and resourceful. They didn't often have sugar, so they balanced their sweet cravings with what they had available.
Right. And many modern favorites like pumpkin pie evolved from these humble, often savory beginnings.
So back then, pumpkin pie wasn't a sugary indulgence like it is today. It was more like, eat your vegetables version of dessert.
Right. And a fun anecdote here. Early pies sometimes included meats or were pot pies with crusts.
This is going to tie in well with our pudding episode, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
You want to take us to the 19th century evolution?
Absolutely. So, and this is where you had the rise of sugar and refined ingredients. So, by the 1800s, sugar became much cheaper and more widely available due to improvements in refining and trade. Refined flour, butter, and dairy products also became easier to access, and these changes transformed desserts, making them sweeter, richer, and more consistent. Then you have new ovens. You didn't just have an open fire or a hearth oven, you had kitchen equipment which allowed for more precise baking, including pies, cakes, and puddings.
Yeah, so classic colonial puddings evolved into rice pudding, Indian pudding, and custards. And rice pudding is not that bad. I mean, it's
It's
actually,
it's pretty good
yeah, I mean, it's blah, so you got to add something to it.
for sure.
And a lot of people don't like custards, but I personally love custards.
I do too. Hmm.
So, textures were sometimes unusual, like gelatinous, stiff, or custardy, depending on the ingredients and methods used to prepare them. And colonial and early 19th century cooks, well, they experimented boldly. And I do mean boldly, combining sweet and savory in ways modern palates just might find strange.
I mean, but you got to learn somewhere. They
Yeah,
were starting basically from scratch.
and I was going to say this set the stage for everything that we have today. So, I mean, yeah, go for it. Knock yourself out. You be the,
I was going to say they were definitely the taste testers there.
yeah.
So now you have the emergence of modern pumpkin pie. Around this time, it shifted towards the sweeter version we recognize today. So cookbooks like Amelia Simmons' American Cookery, which came out in 1796, helped standardize recipes with sugar, spices, milk, or cream. And this period marks pumpkin pie's transformation from hearty, utilitarian food to a festive dessert.
Thank you, because I love some pumpkin pie.
Oh my God, me too. With some whipped cream. Oh,
Yeah. And so some of those quirky traditions and regional variations, some families included savory ingredients or leftover meats in pies. And this was a throwback to earlier utilitarian practices where, nothing goes to waste.
right.
And in rural towns, Thanksgiving desserts contest, they encourage creativity with unusual ingredients because difference in those kind of contests kind of really stand out. How different? I don't know. I could not be I could not be a taste tester for a contest like that. I couldn't.
Um, you couldn't just because back in the day they also didn't believe in proper sanitation.
I yeah, I mean I would yeah, I don't know. Would have to see. So these contests they would highlight a playful and an experimental side of 19th century dessert making. So and you still see a lot of those bake-offs today, right?
Hmm.
During that time, I know that like the county fairs or whatever, and some rule in small towns.
Right. And so the takeaway here was the 19th century was a time of innovation and experimentation, which set the stage for our modern desserts. Pumpkin pie evolved into a symbol of celebration, while other desserts reflected both creativity and resourcefulness. A fun note, back then, desserts weren't just about sweetness, it was also about who could make the quirkiest pie in town.
Ugh, and which again, I could not be a taste tester because there's no telling what they're gonna throw in that thing. So we'll kind of move on to the regional and cultural oddities during this time. So Southern desserts, rich, sweet, and festive, such as the sweet potato pie. It is often called the Southern cousin of pumpkin pie. It's creamy, spiced, and tied to African American culinary traditions. And I'm here to tell you, I love sweet potato pie almost more than actually, I love sweet potato pie more than I do pumpkin pie.
If you get a good one, sometimes you don't get a good one.
Sometimes you don't get a good one, or they try to put too much spice in it. It's just kind of like, this is not good.
Then you have some chess pie, which is a simple custard-like pie made with sugar, eggs, and butter, which is often flavored with cornmeal or vinegar for tang.
Mm. And then you got that Southern pecan pie. And this was popularized in the late 19th, early 20th centuries. And it became a Southern holiday staple thanks to the abundance of pecans and corn syrup. And who doesn't love a good pecan pie during Thanksgiving?
I only like my best friend's dad's pie, pecan pie.
Every time I've ever tried to make one, it hasn't come out right. So I like the Mrs. Edwards.
He makes one for me every year.
Yeah. The Mrs. Edwards one, they're always pretty good, but my wife doesn't like pecan pie and my daughter doesn't like nuts. So when I get one, I pretty much eat the whole thing.
Jesus.
That's, but I only get it once a year. So,
Yeah, same.
I'm loving the
Luckily,
pecan pie.
luckily, I don't know if Nugget likes it, but I'm sure Rain will like it. Jesus, that kid likes everything. So, then you got some New England oddities. You have Indian pudding, which is a cornmeal base sweetened with molasses flavored with milk, spices, and dried fruit, and often eaten warm.
It's a unique taste if you've never had it.
I'm curious.
It's, it's unique. I was not prepared. Had I have been prepared, it might have been a little bit better. How about that?
Fair
Then
enough.
then you have cranberry pies. So cranberry pies, as you would imagine, they're tart and seasonal. And this really showcases New England's native berry, the cranberry.
I'm curious. I love cranberries.
I've never had a cranberry pie. I would try that.
Same.
I'm with you on that one. That is, I'm curious.
hmm And then you have mince pies, which was imported from English traditions, originally containing a mix of dried fruits, spices, and sometimes leftover meats.
Yeah, I'm not good with that one. I think we can kind of push that one to the side and just go for the cranberry pie. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't qualify that one as a dessert.
Yeah. Now let's go to the Midwestern practical and playful. So you have Jell-O molds, brightly colored, fruit-filled, and often decorated for holiday tables. And these became iconic in the 20th century. And I know you have seen those Jell-O molds that like, I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I come originally from the West,
Oh, okay.
and I haven't really seen those here in the South, I'll be honest with you. Just this brought back a core memory for me, and now I miss it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've seen them. I'm not from the Midwest, but I've seen them. I've seen them on shows. I've seen them on uh, different websites, and especially during the research, and I'm intrigued.
Hmm. Then you have pumpkin custards, a lighter crust-free alternative to pumpkin pie.
Okay. I think I really kind of would like the crust though.
Hmm.
Then you have the fruit-filled gelatin desserts. Sometimes layered, sometimes including unexpected additions like marshmallows or cottage cheese.
Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
actually, there's one dessert that my aunts always made it. It was like a fruit thing that had like cheese and stuff in it. It was really good.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that one.
I can't remember what all they would put in it though, but it was
My
really good.
stepmom made something last year. Well, well, no, she didn't make it last year. She made it the year before. She wasn't here last year to make it. But it's like Jell-O and whipped cream and some other stuff, and it's really good.
Okay, you're talking about like you put Jell-O, you put whipped cream, and then you put like fruit, and then you put the mini marshmallows in it.
Something like that. That she doesn't put the marshmallows in it though. I'll have
Okay,
to ask her. But it's
okay.
really good. Unfortunately, I think I ate too much of it and made myself sick. It was
Oh,
awful.
I can do that.
Oh, okay. So Native American influences, honoring the first foods. You have cornmeal puddings, hearty sweetened with honey or molasses and tied to long-standing indigenous cooking practices.
Those are actually pretty good. I've had some variations of those. Then you have maple syrup desserts, cakes, puddings, or candies that are made with the earliest sweeteners known to North America, and that's maple syrup. And maple syrup mainly comes from our Canadian friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, for sure. That's a throwback to our maple syrup heist.
Oh yeah. And I guess if we're talking about maple syrup, that would be like northern United States, maybe.
I think so, like Vermont or something. Because, I mean, you have the Vermont maple candies that they used to sell at Cracker Barrel. And
Yeah.
I went to go get one for my mom for Christmas because that's what I get her every year for Christmas. And they don't sell them anymore. So I had to
Hmm.
suffice with maple covered pecans.
Okay.
I was the very sad.
I imagine she was too.
She was very upset. I was like, I tried, Mom. I'm sorry.
See,
Um,
this year, now that you know that they're not there, you should just go on over to Cozy Earth and get her something there. You get 41% off.
that's true. That's true. She does appreciate some comfy jammies.
Yeah.
So now we have some berry-based sweets like blueberries, cranberries, and blackberries used in baked goods or simple preserves.
So then we have some fun and festive traditions. Some Thanksgiving desserts were shaped or decorated with symbolic motifs, like turkeys, leaves, pumpkins, or harvest scenes. Think of those Jell-O molds we were talking about.
Hmm. Hmm. And then these decorative touches highlighted the celebratory and communal spirit of the holiday.
So to kind of bring it together here, we were talking about regional desserts that reflected local resources, that really kind of blended tradition, culture, just honestly and truly, just kind of bringing it all together. As you can see, every different region of the United States had something a little different.
Hmm. And what people ate at Thanksgiving wasn't just about taste, it was about identity and heritage.
So in a way, every pie told a story of family roots, regional pride, and a sweet sense of belonging.
Hmm.
So now when you see that dessert table all lined up, kind of get a different kind of spin on things.
Right. And now let's move into the 20th century weirdness and commercialization. Okay.
Weirdness.
Weirdness. So you get mass-produced pies and convenience culture. The early to mid 20th century saw the rise of canned pumpkin and ready-made pie crusts. Brands marketed pumpkin pie as holiday made easy, shifting traditions from scratch baking to convenience desserts. And then you have the frozen and store-bought pies, which became common, making desserts more uniform but also less personal.
And then you have novelty desserts that kind of take the stage. Marshmallow top sweet potato casseroles, have side dish, have dessert, and really an invention of marketing campaigns. So we just want to give a nod to the marshmallow companies and say thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have cream pies like chocolate cream pies, coconut cream pies, banana cream pies, and all of these became staples um, during the mid-century table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. And then Jello salads. That's what I was thinking about. Was a Jello salad with the whipped cream, the marshmallows, the fruit. It's a Jello salad.
Mm-hmm.
So Jello salads and ambrosia, bright colors, whipped cream, canned fruit. This really kind of gave odd textures that were both loved and ridiculed. And some people love to hate them, and some people love them. And I actually am one of those who love them.
Same. Same.
Yeah.
We agree.
Okay. So this is not a Coke and Pepsi thing. We can actually agree on some things.
Yes, yes.
Coke is better.
It is not.
During Christmas, you
Mm.
got to have a Coke. There's
Mm.
Santa Clauses on the pack.
Yeah,
We're going to talk about that, but Coke wins out. Anyway, you can
if
go
you say
ahead
so.
with your. Okay.
So then you have dessert trends that reflect American tastes. Post World War II, America embraced processed ingredients like gelatin mixes, boxed cake, and marshmallows. And these experiments led to unusual creations like layered Jell-O molds with fruit and even vegetables. I don't know why you'd put Jell-O vegetables, but I
Whoever's putting vegetables in Jell-O, stop for
please,
everybody.
please, please. And then you have the whipped toppings that barely resembled cream.
Hey, I just want to say, if you like vegetables in your Jell-O, by all means, knock yourself out. Just don't expect everyone else to love it.
Yes, yes. I appreciate your unusual tastes.
Yeah.
I do not share them.
No. Could you
So
imagine broccoli stuffed Jell-O? I'm sorry, I'm just
that
sitting here thinking now.
that sounds like every cartoon nightmare I've ever seen.
Well, this is the cauliflower and broccoli Jell-O mold. Y'all can have some.
Oh,
We got
mm,
ranch dressing to go over the top.
ooh,
Anyway,
ooh,
Kat,
no.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take your thing away.
Oh my goodness. So then you had chocolate, which became more prominent in holiday desserts, showing the shift toward richer and more indulgent flavors.
And who doesn't love chocolate in their desserts? Then you have regional and creative variations. Even as convenience spread, regional twist, well, they continued. You have pumpkin mousse as a lighter, airy take on pumpkin pie. Then you have cranberry cheesecakes. Who can't get behind cranberry cheesecakes?
Right.
I mean, it's blending traditional fruit with modern dessert trends, and I think I would go for the cranberry cheesecake, but I would try a slice of the cranberry pie.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. And local bakeries started putting their own spin on holiday sweets.
Yeah. So from table to trend, the rise of the showpiece desserts. So by the late 20th century, Thanksgiving desserts weren't just about taste anymore. They were about presentation. Throw in that big party. You want to have your Jell-O mold, hopefully with not any vegetables in it, or it's just going to sit there. And maybe some cranberry cheesecakes, maybe some cranberry pies, and have it decorated, like little folly type stuff.
Right. You got the elaborate designs, your sculpted pies, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And then in the 21st century, this evolved into, social media rise, Instagram Thanksgiving dessert, which was visually stunning treats meant to be photographed as much as they were meant to be eaten.
Mm-hmm.
We're
And
gonna
so,
have to,
all right, William, let's take a moment and reflect on what we've learned here in this section. We got the 20th century that turned Thanksgiving desserts into a mix of tradition, marketing, and spectacle. And what started with practical pies and puddings became a showcase of processed creativity and visual flair. And by this point, Thanksgiving desserts weren't just on the table, they were making a statement, sometimes sweet, sometimes strange, but always memorable.
Yeah, I think honestly and truly what I really got out of this was so marketing kind of took its toll on Thanksgiving traditions by mass production and things like that. So
Right. The personal touch was kind of taken out of it.
absolutely, I agree with that. And but surprising or forgotten Thanksgiving sweets. So we're going to kind of touch on some of these. So some forgotten favorites that once were popular, but sadly or not so sadly are rarely seen. So Indian pudding, or it's a cornmeal, molasses, milk, and spices that's baked into a thick, warm dessert. This was once common in New England. Now it's mostly extinct on modern tables.
Hmm,
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's different. I've had this before. I'm telling you, if I was prepared, I believe it would have been a little better.
I got you. I don't know. I've never tried it, but I'm definitely curious. So maybe I'll look up a recipe or ask my neighbors if they make it. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right, and then you have mock apple pie, and these were often made with Ritz or soda crackers, and were flavored with sugar, lemon, and cinnamon, and it really kind of mimicked apples. And this was born out of lean times when apples really weren't available. And I imagine mock apple pies were probably big during the Great Depression.
Probably.
Yeah, I bet,
Probably.
we need to do some history on that, but I bet you that made a comeback during the Great Depression.
I'm trying not to be mean or rude, but it sounds like a pie of sadness.
Well, I mean, think about it. If you don't have apples and you want to have an apple pie, what do you do?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, but
Yeah, it does sound like a sad apple pie.
mm-hmm.
And then you have persimmon pudding. Um, this is a dense spiced dessert, especially popular in the Midwest and Appalachian areas of the United States. It's sticky, rich, and tied to the regional harvest of persimmons. And, you know,
I've had persimmons. I think a persimmon pudding sounds kind of good.
I would have to try it. You
Right.
know, I think out of the three that we talked about, that's probably the saddest for me to go away.
Right. Same. Same.
Okay.
So now you have weird historical ingredients. A little peek into our past kitchens, if you will. Squash with molasses, and it's used as a filling in early pies before pumpkin and sugar became standard, which probably really wasn't that bad,
Yeah,
honestly.
because you were talking about how it could double as a vegetable and a sweet treat, right?
Yeah, no, I had a friend of mine. She's passed away now. But she made me my first squash pie, and I telling you, I couldn't tell the difference. It was delicious.
I like a good baked winter squash, but it's got to be done right for me. Anyway,
So then you have suet-based pies, which is animal fat mixed into sweet pies for richness, a texture and flavor that modern palates would find unusual. I would say that's, I mean, I don't know, because in my mind, suet's like Crisco.
it is 99.9% Crisco, so
Um,
it would be a fat pie.
yeah, yeah, that sounds like, I'd use, I mean, I learned how to use Crisco to line baking dishes, and that's as far as I really got with Crisco.
Um, my grandmother used to use it a lot. I don't cook with Crisco. I used to cook with butter a lot. I mean a lot. Now I cook mostly with extra virgin olive oil or something not so heavy and so fattening.
Hmm.
As older adults, we really got to watch our cholesterol intake.
Yeah. And then you got your mock puddings, which are frugal recipes that use breadcrumbs, crackers, or leftover grains to imitate more expensive desserts.
Yeah, and if they're done right, I imagine you probably couldn't really tell the difference.
Right, that's true.
So then, odd traditions and practicality meets dessert. So, in colder months, some desserts were intentionally served cold since food preservation was it was easier in the wintertime.
Hmm.
And
And
you want to do it?
I didn't know if you were going to do the whole thing or if you wanted me
No.
to come in here.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Switch it
All
up.
right, fair enough. All right, so leftovers became the next day's dessert, transforming into cold puddings, pies, or jellied sweets. I mean, I don't know about you, but Thanksgiving leftovers are my favorite part.
Okay, but uh, so but you're saying they transition from the food into the next day's desserts.
Right.
I'm okay with the leftovers. I'm not so sure I want to have a turkey pie the next day.
No, no. See, now I want to have a turkey sandwich the next day.
Yeah. Anyway, look, I agree. Leftovers are they're amazing. And back in this time though, we're talking about hard times. So, okay, I get it. Nothing went to waste.
Right, that's true.
So, some families even prepared desserts days in advance so flavors would they would kind of mold together. And this was a practice that's especially true with fruit cakes and puddings. And we're going to do one on fruit cakes because I love a good fruit cake.
I don't know if I've had a good fruitcake. So now you have stories of flops and kitchen disasters because, every good experiment comes with some gnarly results.
Horrifying tales from the kitchen.
Right. So, historical cookbooks are filled with trial and error recipes, burned puddings, collapsed pies, or odd flavor pairings.
Yeah, just look at my cookbook. Um, one common Thanksgiving disaster is custards that will not set, or pies baked with too much molasses, resulting in bitter or soupy messes. Yeah, I could see that.
That sounds unfortunate.
I've been there, done that. Every time I make a pecan pie, that custard filling, it either turns out like a brick or a pile of goop.
Right. But for every perfect pie on the table, there were probably two or three that didn't survive the kitchen experiment stage.
Yeah. So, so hats off to all those bakers that worked on really hard on getting those recipes right.
Yes.
So I'll say let's wrap up. Um, so these forgotten and surprising desserts that we talked about show how resourcefulness and regionality and experimentation really shape the Thanksgiving desserts and treats that we enjoy.
Right. They remind us that dessert history is full of hits, misses, and the occasional delicious accident. As Bob Ross would say, a happy little accident.
Happy little accident over here in the corner. Um, so Thanksgiving desserts may evolve, but one tradition has never changed. Someone is bound to burn the pie
At least once.
at least once, or go to cut the turkey like the Griswolds did, and it just
Oof. Yeah, that would be unfortunate too. So, Thanksgiving desserts aren't just sweet endings to a meal. They're edible history. Every pie, pudding, or brightly colored jello mold carries the story of its time, the scarcity of colonial kitchens, the abundance of the 19th century, and the convenience craze of the 20th, and the show-stopping creativity of today.
yeah. So they remind us that food is never static, right? It evolves with culture, technology, and even trends. What started as a practical dish made from pumpkins, cornmeal, molasses, or whatever they had on hand, it set the holiday stage for everything from pecan pies to pumpkin spice that we know, and the cranberry cheesecake that I'm dying to try.
Right, exactly. And maybe that's the real magic of Thanksgiving desserts. They bridge the past with the present, and they honor tradition while leaving room for experimentation, whether that means reviving an old favorite like Indian pudding or inventing the next viral pie for Instagram.
Yeah. So the next time you dig into that pumpkin pie or something strange, just remember this. You're not just eating dessert, you're tasting centuries of history, creativity, and a little bit of weirdness that keeps Thanksgiving uniquely sweet.
Well, I loved this. I loved hearing the different variations of some desserts. I That was awesome.
You know what I'm gonna do? Now I've got to look up a cranberry pie recipe.
Yes.
I,
Yes.
if one of our listeners has a cranberry pie recipe that is passed down, info on
If
the go podcast at gmail.com.
right.
I
If you're
am
comfortable sharing your family's recipe now, sometimes people want to keep that in the family. Understandable.
that is true. That is true. I agree with that. But I mean, if you're willing to share it with us, I won't go blab it everywhere.
Yeah, we won't post it or anything, but we want to try it.
I definitely want to try it, and I think it would probably be a lot better than what it sounds. I think it would be tart, but I mean, do
But I
you
like
like?
I like cranberry sauce and I like, cranberries.
I was gonna ask, do you like the cranberry sauce? Yes.
Oh, yes.
The one that comes out of the can is okay, but the one that's homemade is absolutely the best.
I agree. I agree. And I like the I don't like the cranberry sauce with cranberries that comes out of a can. That one's a little too tart for me. But I'll eat it. It's still good because I mix it with like turkey and stuff. But the jellied cranberry sauce is what I'm talking about. And I like to put that on my turkey sandwiches for the next day.
Yeah, and I love cranberry juice. So I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is there any kind of weird or unique thing that you and your family do for Thanksgiving?
Pearled onions.
Boiled onions?
Pearled. Pearled onions in like a cheese sauce.
Okay. So for us, that's not really, we have two things that are a staple that we have to have on Thanksgiving. One is my wife's green bean casserole.
Oh
I,
man. If you
I,
green bean
I,
casserole is the best. Sorry.
no, no, no. I've tried to make it and everybody's like, no, my mom has to do it. Like, and deviled eggs. She has to make the green bean casserole and I have to make the deviled eggs.
Sometimes you can't, I mean, deviled eggs, they're hit or miss.
I'm here to tell you, I have no surefire recipe. I just do it until it tastes right.
Yeah, no, that's what Casey's mom does too. I'm gonna have to make it with her again, but I made sure to make it with her at least once a few Thanksgivings ago. I think I was pregnant with Nova, and she finally was teaching me her deviled egg recipe.
Well, mine is just a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I'm all about flavor. So when I'm cooking something, like I make my own rubs, my own barbecue sauces, all that good stuff.
Hmm.
For me, I'm searching for that flavor profile. It has to hit me right, and
Right.
maybe I just take a little knife and stick it in the thing, and if it tastes good, I'm good to go. If not, we're gonna add some stuff to it.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. I mean, you get the basis down and you're like, okay, I need a little more of this. Need a little more of that. So
But
I hear you.
if you put too much mayonnaise, though, there's no coming back from that.
Right.
I've
Right.
tried.
Well, because then you make it too watery and then you have too much.
Yeah, the only other option to do there is just make some egg salad, chop everything else up, and then start all over again. But that's been some years.
Right. But if you would like to support this podcast, tell a friend and help get the word out.
If you would like to help us keep the show going, you can do so at Patreon. You can find the link in the show notes.
William and I want to thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you for listening.
Join the Facebook group at Info on the Go
Share with us your show ideas.
or ask us a question.
You can subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcasts.
Send us a text using the link in the show notes or leave a review.
It helps others find us, and you can also email us at,
Info on the Go podcast at gmail.com.
and yes, that is all one word. Till next time.
Stay curious.